What up, what up, what up, guys? I know you've been waiting. I apologize, but I promise this is going to be a good show. This is your girl, aka Pella Talk, with another bi-weekly dose of open perspective. We are not going to talk about the UFOs that was seen in America. We're not going to talk about um, Rihanna performing at the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl game. And we're not going to talk about Valentine's Day. What we are going to talk about and explore are the challenges in relationships through the Black male experience. And I'm telling you, we have some great guests on here. You are not going to be misled. You are not going to want to miss this. So, like, share to your friends. What we usually do is go on the Facebook page right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I hope you guys follow my lead as I go on the Facebook like page and share to my actual Facebook page. So let's do this. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm getting better at this because I used to suck at it. So let's see. Okay. There we go. I'm excited. Okay, I'm getting better at this because it used to take me about like 5 minutes. I know people were like, "What's taking you so long, girl?" But I want to show some love too to the people who have been showing me love. So we have some comments from the last show. It's like, "Hey girl, just listened to your relationship podcast episode and it was great. Thank you for sharing all the gems as it is a mindset shift and change can only happen when we become more disciplined and focus on building our system to learn to manage our chips. Thanks, girl." And then I thank you so much for that. That's Diane. Shout out to Diane. Ika said, "I enjoyed it so much. I learned a few things. I would definitely apply it to my finances." And then somebody said, "Good morning. I wanted to tell you that last show on finances was informative. I will call you soon to talk about it," and all that good stuff. Shout out to my girl, Clyde, because she still, listen, even though we're not doing a show together, that's my sister. We support each other platforms. So without further ado, let's get to the cast, the crew, the panelists, whatever you want to call them. What up, what up, what up, guys?
What's going on? Good evening.
Going on. I'm gonna go around, state your name, tell us about yourself. At the end, you can tell people where to follow you. But
What's
we're
going
going
on? What's
to
going on?
start off with Dr. I am Dr. Love Jones. Okay, let's go. Oh, you muted. You on mute.
Oh, you see, I listen, right? You say go on mute, so I listen, man, listen. So, anyways, what's going on? What's up? Peace and love. My name is Javon, also known as Dr. Love Jones. I'm a level up coach, and I'm an author of the book Level Up: How to Start Living Your Best Life Now. And definitely, I look forward to giving and adding value to my words onto this platform. Peace and love, y'all, and stay tuned.
All right, thank you, Dr. Love Jones. Next, here at Royal Oils Grooming, tell us about yourself.
What's going on? My name is Andre. I go by him, he. I'm a man. Um, but now I'm just joking. He's just the owner of Royal Warriors Room. Here to just chop it up tonight for some good conversation.
I was gonna say, oh, he about to be complicated, honey. Next we have Romaine in real life. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Peace and love. Peace and love. I'm Romaine in real life. I'm a writer, author, poet, aspiring physician, or dentist rather. I work in healthcare and just here to show some love and give some perspective and with all the other kings and people on the panelists. So it's all love.
Yeah. Oh, who we got next? Who we got next popping up on here? It was good.
Big 40, not the little one. Anyway, my name Calvin, straight out of Jersey. I'm a fitness guru, whatever you want to call it, / personal trainer. Work for the post office. You can find me at Maserati _ VVS _ 40 Cal. Let's get it.
Period. I got somebody yelling y'all names out. I'll post that later. She like, who is that? Like, who's this? Say your name.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? My name Will. This podcast right here, podcast, talk about mental health in the Black community. I try to touch on all things, keep it real, authentic. I'm just here to support my cousin and get it in with these kings right here. Talk some business.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you. You was on one of my last shows, so I appreciate you for being on here again. Always love your perspective. And who we got right here?
What's going on, y'all? My name is James from Brooklyn. I go by Colombian Dread. Of course, I used to have my locks, so I kept the name. I had my locks for about 13 years, so this is why I still have the name. But I'm also an owner operator. I also have my own watch company as well. I'm just here to give a few insights and also to take advice as well. So shout out to everyone tuning in.
Period. Period. Who do we have here?
Hey, what's going on, America? What is going on to the Kings, to everyone that is here right now watching? My name is Nasur Nuru of the Late Night Flight Podcast. What's about to happen as far as this podcast is concerned? We have 30,000 downloads on the audio podcast. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We even re-released it on YouTube because that's what we're about to head to when we release our visual version of the Late Night Flight. So get ready for that. Episode 101 of the Late Night Flight Podcast coming to YouTube in March. And we're very excited. And thank you, Latoya again for allowing the Late Night Flight to come on, talk with the Kings.
I'll bring it up later.
All right. Next, who we got here? State your name. The mute. You're on mute.
I'm mute.
What's up, everybody? My name is Hakeem Telefaro, and I am the founder of the Telefaro, which is a fragrance brand based out of East Orange, New Jersey. I met Phrase way back. It's crazy because we have a crazy story as far as the projects that we've done together, the mindset that we've allowed to develop along the way is just crazy. And I'm happy to be a part of this conversation today and share space with these other powerful Black men who are making great things happen in their respective spaces. So I'm happy to be here, y'all.
Thank you for being on, bro. I appreciate you. You were on the show before as well, so I appreciate your perspective as well. And thanks for joining us again. And last but not least, who do we have here? You muted.
My fault. What's going on? Chuck here. You can find me at Be Awesome from Chuck. I'm an educator. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a tech guru. A New Day STEM Projects is what I'm, let's say, here to promote, if anything. Here to listen, here to give any feedback and experience that I may have. But here to really chop it up with our kings to figure out, not even to figure out, to hear, everybody's perspective on these type of talks. You feel me?
Yeah, period. And I thank you for being on the show as well. Let me get you off of solo. Yeah, so guys, listen up. I hope y'all ready for these questions. It might open up the door for another question because listen, Andre been here before. He know that sometimes it took forever. So we want to keep the questions and we want to keep the answers at least 3-minute minimum, please. Please, because we're already short on time. So we're gonna get into the questions. So let me put some of these comments up because this is he's going in. Thank you. Hey him. Okay, I'm trying to figure out who she was talking about. I should have put it up at that moment. Romaine Letters.
Brooklyn, stand up. Flatbush.
Flatbush. What?
What y'all say, Mayo? What y'all say?
Good?
Yeah, she's listen, that's my godmom.
She going in.
Number one supporter right there.
Yeah, she going in.
All right, we'll get to the first question. All right, okay, let's go. So, what are the biggest challenges you face today as a man? So, I wanted to change this up and give y'all a choice. You could pick relationship, marriage, or job. As a Black man, that is.
Wow.
Good question.
So, I'm going to start off with Nasur because I see that head going hold on. Oh, I took him out, honey. Let's put him back in and give him the spotlight. Go ahead.
Oh no, I I was listening to the question, and then you turned it into a multiple choice question, which is fine. I just didn't know. That's all. Ain't no big deal.
No, it's all right. You can answer it how you want.
All right, cool. So, in my opinion, right, I'm just one person. In my opinion, I believe jobs, justice, or you could say careers if you want to say jobs, but jobs / careers, justice, change, which is a mindset, and we can get to that, and political affiliations. I think those things are the biggest challenges Black American men, or men period. I think Black American men in particular face today. I believe that a lot of the things that women have concern with when it comes to us as men come from a generational thing, and we can get more into that as the questions pour on and we have more conversation. But from there, then for instance, like with jobs and careers, most men, like now you've seen the brothers, the Kings talk, they have their businesses, they have LLCs, where we could be a different breed of brothers. But for those who are working the everyday 9 to 5, may not know how to get to the next level where it is to a career. I think there's a brother on one of the Kings that said that they're about to be a dentist right now. It's not like that person is 27, 26 years old. That's someone that's still progressing and evolving as a human being. Like, that's a man right there. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. And I don't think this generation that's coming up, I know me, when I was young, that wasn't delivered to me like that. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own, and there has to be, I don't want to see, of course, workshops, gatherings, things of that nature, where the young men of tomorrow get to be taught, like not even taught, but more supervised on the things that they want to do. Like, hey, oh, you want to be a doctor for real? Well, here is the path. This is what you have to do. I don't think no one is supervising these youngsters. People say, I want to be this, and then that's all it is after that. Let's just see what happens. And people need supervision. That's the truth. I'm definitely closer to 40 than I am 30, and I still need supervision. So
there will be challenges, like
right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think those things can help. As far as change, again, it's a mindset. Some people, period, do not want change, especially as you get older. But again, change is something that's actually very imminent. It has to happen in order for us to really evolve. And then political affiliations. I'll say this real quick. I see our Black American sisters getting a lot out of America now because they have the power to organize and vote. I'm not here to tell men that we have to vote. What I'm saying is, imagine 4 million Black American men, don't care which America, how you want to look at it, whether it's from Caribbean or Africa or Detroit, don't matter. We're all ganged up together, and it's 4 million of us. And we're saying, look, hey, we here, we love America. It's nothing against nobody, but we're not giving up our vote until we can have what we need in order to supply back to our sisters. Because you guys know, when I say you guys, I'm talking about the government, know that there has been things that have gone on that have broken up the Black American family. And in order for us to gain that back, of course, we have to be away from the system, away from jail, because that takes time away from the sisters that we say we love, right? So now that everyone is working, everyone having careers, everyone having cars, they're getting to and fro. Like, there's not the small necessities of life is not being an issue anymore. You're gaining 5 to 10 to 15 years back into the Black American family. But in order for men, in my opinion, I'm just one person again, to say, hey, we want this, I think we should hold on to the vote. See, there's a lot of men saying, I just don't vote. We don't need to have that attitude.
I'm so sorry. I don't even want to cut you off either, but like, if you can like sum it up, I don't want to cut you off. I still want to.
Oh, no, I apologize. That was just the last thing. So just to sum up this, I'll give you 10 seconds. The last thing I was just saying about the political affiliations, we just want to organize to say, hey, this is what we need. And then we can say President Biden or President this person or that person, that person. That's all. That's my time. I apologize again for going over.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to give it to Dre. And then what you think, Dre?
All right, so repeat the question for me one more time so I can make sure I'm clear.
What are the biggest challenges you face today as a man? You can pick either your relationship, or you can pick between your, as a Black man, a relationship, or you can pick between your career. So you can pick one of those.
And you're asking me personally, or you're asking me to speak on behalf of what I think a lot of Black men go through?
I mean, it's up to you. We're this is an open conversation. So what do you, what angle would you like to get from?
I always think that accessibility to, like me, I'm a businessman. right? So I'm not, relationships to me are important, but they're secondary right now to business because I'm in my development stages. So for me, I think that finances, career, and then overstimulation. You know, I think that the overstimulation that men, that the things that are opposed to men creates the lack of focus. I know for me, building something, you have so many opportunities, right? Because now we're in the information era, you have access. Access creates opportunities. Opportunities are, you know, so abundant nowadays, it's hard to stay focused just on one thing. So, you know, for me, I think, you know, that it's more so finance-based, career-based opportunities and availabilities that are at the forefront. Those are some of the things that I'm striving to continue to gain. So that's more or less what I would say my plight would be.
What you think, Hakeem? What you think, Hakeem?
Oh man, so I'm really pondering this question. So I would say it's mainly two things. One, I think a lot of us have identity issues, and what I mean by that is, if I were to ask any guy on this podcast, "Who are you?" we may have a various number of different responses. Some may say I'm an entrepreneur. Some may say I'm a father. Some may say I'm a husband. Some may say I'm a dentist. You know what I'm saying? Some may say I'm a perfumer. So usually that first thing that comes out of our mouth is what we kind of build our foundation on as far as who we are as a man. And what happens is, what I've learned from experience is, our identity literally is the foundation of everything that we build upon. And what people see from the outside looking in is literally based on our identity, what we built on. And I think that's like the main thing is, for me, it was this kind of solidifying my identity. And second thing I would say is kind of finding our place to grow and build. I think somebody else mentioned, I think the last gentleman mentioned how access to capital and resources. Sometimes like finding that route, like how do I provide for my family? Or if I don't have a family, how do I provide for myself? And like, where do I start? Especially if you don't have leadership and guidance.
Great point, Nasor. Piggybacking off of that, who we got here? What about you? What you think? Mr. Educator.
I think that me personally, well, you voiced something about education, right? When we look at Black men within education, right, we make up 2% of 5% of Black educators, right? And that's 5% of all educators in the United States. Black men make only up 2% of that. There's a huge, the brother mentioned identity. There's a huge disconnect between our younger generations and where we believe we are currently as like those, the next level up, right? So as I walk into a classroom of, and I teach at an all-girls school now. So as I walk into a classroom, even before the all-girls school, right? My goal now is to present myself in a way that when they look at the other young brothers on the street, the boys that's trying to holler at them, it's like, yo, nah, chill, because this is what I know a Black man can be. This is what I see a Black man is. You're not even trying to give me some semblance of that, right? A lot of times that disconnect happens because of straight on we're not around for them to see it, right? I imagine a scenario, and I'm only imagine out of a staff of about 50 or so, I'm one of 3 or 4 Black men in the whole school. So I imagine scenarios where if none of those Black men were in that school, a lot of these girls will go an entire year without seeing a Black man being a teacher, without experiencing education from a Black man, without experiencing the thoughts of a Black man, the presence of a Black man, the energy of a Black man. And so I believe for me, As it stands right now, my biggest challenge, my biggest hurdle is being able to exude that identity, right? Being able to stand firm in the identity of myself as a Black man, right? It's again, working at an all-girls school, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Because I can't walk in there and be like this overbearing type of figure, right? I can walk in there and be unhealed with my own personal traumas. And so just making sure that that is on the forefront it's been a hurdle for me, I can say, these last like year or so. So that's a big change. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I bet it can be quite a hurdle for you. What you think, Cal?
All right, for me, I will start off by saying just finances, period. Whether if you want to just put your job title on the front line or whatnot. And the reason why I categorize everything as finances, whatever you aspire to be, consists of you making a salary off of it. You know what I'm saying? And as a Black man, I feel like we have a lot of weight on our shoulder. Whether if we're just going to the bar with our brothers, you know what I'm saying, and or if a female asks you out on a date, you know, she asks you, but guess what? Who's paying? So like it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. It's finances is number one, and I feel like everything trickles down after that. But I know you also said something about relationships.
Yeah.
This is my belief. If you sit down with a woman and y'all put everything on the and y'all decide to stick together, y'all both made that agreement. It's a choice. Right. At any given time, you could part and do your thing. So I can't consider that a challenge if it was my choice to stay. But like I said, I'm gonna just leave it as a big summary as finances.
That was good. I agree with you, Cal. I agree with you because a lot of girls right now, like the mindset is like a lot of girls, I look online, they're like, they trying to get to the bag. And even if y'all are the bag, they trying to get to the bag. So
bro, they want to get to the bag and don't have a bag. Like, come on, let's work together, please.
Right. And you know what? And if going back to what you're saying, Cal, if anybody who's watching tonight, if you go back to millennial dating, we discussed a lot of that. We were talking about like percentages and different things and just meeting at a common ground. So there were different perspectives there. I think that you guys will like that show. But what about you, Will? What you think?
All those brothers that you know what they.
You going in and out. You might have to pick your phone up because of the mic.
You get me now?
Yeah.
I said after all my brothers just went, it's kind of hard to come with something. But I'm gonna just be real honest. Just generalizing it and the foundation of the Black family, like the brother with the black flag in the back. I think we have an issue in our community that we face every day, all day, with breaking generational curses. I think that's one thing that is really holding us back. To keep it real, bravado that we gotta have going back to the hood after you made it out of the hood. That's one thing that we face. Another thing is Black men cannot be themselves generally in a relationship as the Black woman wants him to be because maybe in his past trauma, when we get hurt, we're told to just suck it up. We're told to just be quiet and deal with it. You can't cry, don't show no emotions. So that leads into a relationship. And then you got these broken men dating, maybe a quality sister, but he's broken and she doesn't even know it because he doesn't even know it. So a lot of it is just being real with yourself. I think a lot of Black men these days are not real with themselves and not generally leading within their purpose.
Deep. Yeah, that was a good point, Devon.
All right, so my thought process, I'm gonna touch on a little bit what Will just said, but it's detaching from your trauma. That's the number one thing that actually Black men deal with is when you grow up with this trauma, you come up with an agreement. Based on these agreements, you live your life accordingly. So now, once you get the things you want, you got the things you want, but that trauma still exists. You may get the bad, but the experience that you had coming up from a poverty-stricken situation, it's never going to change just because you got the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of internal healing that we need to work on when it comes to what we're doing within ourselves. Because if we don't learn how to detach from our personal trauma, no matter how much money you get, no matter how much love that you have, no matter how much we get, there's still that attachment. We all saw what happened with Twitch, you know, and it's a very unfortunate situation. It's something that happens with more men. More men are taking themselves out. So if we don't learn how to detach ourselves from our trauma, heal, and let it go, then we're going to continue to bring that with us, no matter whatever place and whatever success or worldly success we'll have.
What you think, Ro?
Yeah, I think what I've observed just from, you know, studying sociology and just like statistics is a lot of us need to heal as Black men, because statistically I think there's 6 million to 7 million Black men is locked up, and then another 6 to 7 million Black men is in the grave because of the men is locked up. And they put them there because of maybe some beef or some money or some trauma or some drama. And I think, like another one of the kings said, that we do need to heal, because rather than seeing your brother or somebody that looks just like you in the grave, you know, why don't we uplift them or help them or team up or create a platform like this so we can communicate genuinely, wholeheartedly, and speak from the heart and speak our truths and speak from our minds. Because when I hear about all these kings like Nipsey and all these different people in the grave, essentially over nothing, that does speak to the fact that we do need to heal and we are hurting. Because for you to, you know, pick up a gun and kill somebody that looks just like you over essentially nothing, we, you know, that's one of the things I've seen, I've heard or read about, that I hear it constantly on the news all day long, that, you know, this person was killed by somebody that looks just like them. And I feel like that's unfortunate amongst a village of amazing people. You know what I'm saying? We're strong, amazing people, but we just need to work on anger management and conflict resolution, I think.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think?
To add on, I agree with everyone. Just to add on to it, I feel like one of the biggest challenges we face is change. I feel like we are allergic to change. And I feel like some of us will rather stay at a job for like 10, 15 years, knowing we don't like it, but we stay because it pays the bills and it also has good benefits. But, you know, when you at a point where you want to discover who you really are, sometimes you have to separate from that job just to step into the unknown. But I feel like change is the biggest threat to our security. This is why we refuse to grow or to move in any direction. So we sometimes don't know where to go. So I would just say that.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of us are afraid of change. We're, like you said, afraid of the unknown. But I'm not a guy, so I can't speak for y'all. So talking about
this, it could be for women too.
Well, you know, it could be for women too. But it's like, I think that a lot of times we think about ourselves and we don't take the time to think about y'all. Like women, like it's not about me today, so I'm not going to talk about us. So on to the next question, we talked about the disadvantages of but do y'all have any advantages to being a Black man?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I go first.
What's the advantage?
Go ahead, Ro.
Hey, hi.
All right, so one thing I'll say, and some people may disagree with me, but I'll say being underestimated is actually a blessing. Being underestimated, it's one thing to go in a job and they just see like, oh, this is another little young Black guy with waves or whatever, and they just see him like, they just think I'm coming here just mopping the floor, and they thinking that because they see me come in doing this one thing, that I think that mentally I feel like I'm only going to be mopping floors. In my mind, I'm taking care of my family. I'm preparing to like learn about this position, this role within the company I may be mopping floors at. I'm looking at how the operations are done. I'm watching, I'm studying, but you won't see it because you don't think I'm smart. Because you know, there's a whole bunch of stereotypes about us. So I would say being underestimated, like, man, that's one of my biggest things. Man, I feel like it actually allows you to come full force quietly.
Who's next? Jump in.
All right, I got this. I'm gonna say one word: genetics.
There you go.
Word.
Genetics.
Word.
Genetics
Facts.
that we have. First, think about this. Let's think about this word. We say it all the time: black don't crack. We're not talking about just looks. It's not genes. We don't crack. Peace and love.
Look
Alright.
at the athletes.
Yeah.
Good
Facts.
one, bro. Good
Good
one.
one. Good one. Well said, King. Well said.
Appreciate it.
Who's next?
Yeah, I think personally it's like there's nothing like being a black man. The swag, the energy, the confidence, I wouldn't want to be anything else but black. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
everything I know, everything that I am, everything I embody, I wouldn't feel like me if I was in any other skin tone. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy that I am now, this evolved version of myself. You know what I'm saying? We all grow through things and go through things, but yeah, I like the man I'm becoming. I like the man that I am now. And the trajectory is crazy. So, I think there's no other. I know we have challenges, police issues and societal issues, and we all go through personal challenges, but I feel like at our core, we're solid, we're strong. We come from kings, we come from Africa, we come from wherever we come from, whatever island, Jamaica, whatever, we come from, so I don't think I would want to be anything else. I think I like where I'm at, and I like who I'm becoming.
I feel like, oh my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, I was going to try to go like close to last because I went first, so I thought all the other kings can just go ahead and go speak that talk.
Well, I was just gonna say nothing moves without black people. Period. Like it's just that simple. I mean, you see, we may not like Kanye, but you look at his situation with Adidas, they hurting without him.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like nothing moves without, especially when it comes to the music. Like, if we don't tap into it, they ain't going anywhere. They can say what they want about pop music, with the supporters is different, but it hits different when it coming from a black artist or black period. So yeah.
Yo, I don't think it's necessarily advantages. I think any black man that is fully involved in his knowledge of who he is and what he's capable of, then it's always going to be advantages. Because like the brother said, we make everything move. And I mean, literally, you know what I'm saying? The eyes are always on us. But I think that what sways us is that we misprioritize the important versus the less important. Like you said, with the music, right? We make it move. But enough of the entertainment. The black men who are in their right mind are looking for the ownership now, right? So I don't think that it's nothing more powerful than a black man in his right mind, prioritize, self-empowered, things of that sort.
If I may, now I want to go. I do want to take it back off what he's 100% correct. That was where I wanted to go with it. I don't honestly feel as though there aren't any advantages of being a black American man right now, but there is opportunity, which is the advantage. The brother just said, the one that has the shirt with the teacher, the king that's a teacher at the all-girls school. Think about this. Now I'm in Newark, New Jersey, so I'll probably speak some Newark stuff. So hear me out. I don't see any programs that would help young black boys get interested in the field of education. So when they leave Camden Street School, or they go to university, or they go to Wheatway, and they leave and they go to King University, because they have a path set up where they know, like, okay, I graduate here, boom, I'm about to work, I'm going to have a career, I'm going to be more like, my mindset is going to be more in depth, where I can prioritize how I'm living on my own. If I really want to be with this woman that's with me or not, I can make clearer decisions, because I'm not just thinking about myself at least 65% of the time, trying to hustle and bustle to get a bag. It's already there for me. You can get to another level from there. I'm just saying, like, the launching pad needs to be rebuilt. It needs to be reinvented. And the brother just spoke to that. And yeah, so I believe it's opportunity. Opportunity is the new advantage for the black American man in 2023.
True.
Facts. I want to piggyback off that. I wholeheartedly agree. the opportunity is the advantage, right? I was going to say that the advantage is being underrepresented, right? But the real thing is that being underrepresented presents the opportunities now for us to like beast, right? In almost every field or every industry I can think of, the black man is underrepresented. Even when we look at sports, right? If you compare salaries, the black man is underrepresented, right? Like there's so much dichotomy to the fact of our ability of a black man to be able to enter into spaces, but not just to enter into the space, but to beast as we enter into the space. In education, I've met some trash teachers, right? I've met some very horrible trash teachers, and I mean like males in general, right? Like horrible. The last school I was at, it was elementary school. The one of the fifth grade math educators used to always like, he wasn't black, but he used to always scream, yell at the kids, throw temper tantrums, right? Adult temper tantrums. There has never been a space for me in education to see a black man respond in that same way, right? The very nature of our underrepresentation means that all eyes are on us. Because all eyes are on us, we know to be on our P's and Q's. We know that, like, forget just the nature of like, yo, I'm not trying to misstep. Nah, fuck that noise. Everybody makes mistakes, but I'm not going to let you now tell me that my mistake is now because I'm a black man. This is not my space I should be in. Nah, fuck that noise, right? Our underrepresentation across the board presents the opportunity now for us to enter into space, presents the opportunity for us to beast in the space and elevate other kings into the space as well too. 100% right. There are no types of programs now around, at least that I've seen, and I've been in education for, you know, close to more than a decade. Like, these educational programs exist across the board for every other demographic. For our little black girls, these programs exist, right? For Hispanic young boys, these programs exist, right? But for a black boy, for a young black male, the idea of him wanting to be a teacher is so far removed from the normal bearings of things that they themselves just believe it's a unicorn, right? If I see a black male teacher, oh, he must have had a 17.0 GPA and letters from every past president or some shit. Nah, not at all. And just being able, again, to be in a space now where we are underrepresented presents us with that advantageous opportunity now to beast and show other young brothers behind us, even forget other young brothers behind us, brothers in general, that like we set our own narratives, right? We create our own types of stories now that propels us forward, not anyone else.
Nice. Thank you for your responses, guys. Do y'all want to answer this? Anybody else want to answer this before we move on to the next question? All right. So let's go on to the next question. What is your perspective of the primary role of a man?
Yeah.
Let me jump in on this real quick.
That's a good one.
I like these type of topics. Love it.
I like this.
The primary role of a man is to protect you from harm's way, and that's it. As far as just being a provider, because that's what these women nowadays think, that's just it. Nah, that ain't it. Because how you expect him to provide? Then he gonna treat you like, I ain't gonna say it on here, but like, you know, then when he disrespect you, now you in an abusive relationship, calling the cops, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You put yourself in that type of position. You know what I'm saying? You asked for it. If you want a man to love you, his pocket shouldn't have nothing to do with it. As long as you could hold your own and he could hold his own, y'all build together. You know what I'm saying? So the primary role, I'll say it again, is to protect you. When we walk down the street, you're supposed to feel confident that your man got you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say generic stuff, because you know when we go out, and obviously we paying and stuff like that, but like, the whole concept, I don't have to work. You gonna pay the bills? Nah. Cardi B messed y'all heads up on that one.
It's a lot of city girls, bro. It's a lot of city girls.
It's cool. I'm here for the heat.
City girls everywhere.
Hey,
city girls.
Can I say this though? I agree with that to a certain degree, right? But I think that the primary role of a man is to find his purpose and then to create order. You know what I'm saying? When a man steps into the household, you know what I'm saying, his job is to create that order, whereas the woman's job is to nurture, right? Like my mom did more to, because of my father's presence, he wasn't required to put his hands on me, right? Because I reckon a boy recognizes a man's energy. So when it comes, now I don't have any kids, right? But to the brother who teach, you know, I purposely substitute in different high schools just to have a presence, right? Because I do have a college degree. I am qualified to do so, but I run a business and I give it my time. And when I look at the lack of male presence in the home, there's no order in the schools. Without order in the home, there's chaos. When there's chaos, that leads to what we have now, which is lack of priority, lack of accountability, you know what I'm saying? Overstimulation to the wrong things, and then perception. We talk about Cardi B, we talk about these different individuals. When you talk about order and priority, it's a man's job to tell his family the real from the fake, right? The even adults don't know that these faces that they use, and I give you an example. If LeBron James or Little Dirk was to walk into the mall, do you think that they'll be rushed by a whole bunch of bystanders, ask for autographs and pictures? Yay or nay?
Yay.
All right. If Jenny Bush was to walk into the mall, do you think that she would get mobbed by people, or Leora Cohen? You see what I'm saying? They generalize us with these small perspectives, these rappers, these athletes. They put us in that category, the things that even adults want to aspire to. Women in general, they want to be social media stars. Guys want to be influencers, as opposed to really developing a self-knowledge, understanding your purpose, because your purpose may not to be the star, but be the assistant to the star, right? So I think that when the man is in his right mind and when the man is fully evolved, his purpose is leadership and order. And with those things comes knowledge because of the experience, understanding, and then wisdom, which that is what you really feed your community and feed your family with. Men are kings. Kings are just highly registered servants of the people. You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that 100%. You know what I'm saying? Even though I said to be a protector, you know what I'm saying?
We are.
How you broke it down, that's perfect. But that's after you find your person already. You know what I'm saying? It's just, how I worded it was just like a generic, like
I agree with you. I know where he was coming from, though, Cal. I know where he was coming from. I want to give it a little deper perspective because I don't have to.
You went deep.
And I'm not you know what I'm saying?
So let me hop in here real quick. So this is such a powerful question, and I have to address something that's going to be a little shaky, right? So we know we have this whole thing where men are calling themselves women, women are calling themselves men, and some are not a gender at all, and all that conversation. We have a whole bunch of ambiguity when it comes to the gender stuff now. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but what I will say is answering this question. I believe the primary role of a man is what I call the 3 Ps, and I can't take credit for this, but the 3 Ps are to protect, to provide, and to praise. And to protect basically means, going along the lines of what I believe 40 Cal said, it's like you protect the environment that you're assigned to, whether that's family, whether that's business, whatever that is, you protect that. You protect that, and by you creating that safe space as that man who is not afraid to deal with conflict, you create a safe space for others to grow. Now, coming into the provision part, the provide part, the man is the builder. He's the one who goes out there looking for the fire, looking for the wood to set the fire. looking for whatever he needs to build. And then he brings the woman when it's time. He brings the woman, and she helps make that house a home, and so forth. So the man is the builder. He's the one who carries the burden. And then the last part is the praise. The man is always building, and it's not always with material. It's also with words, time, and affirmation. So by spending time with your friends, spending time with your neighbors, the kids, your wife, you are building by praising them, by encouraging them. So I feel like what's happening now is, and I'm almost done here, is nobody really knows what a man is anymore, more so because of the times that we are in now. It's a lot of ambiguity and confusion regarding these things. And that's like a whole different podcast. But yeah, just wanted to say that.
All right, let me jump in right here.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so I agree with majority of what Hawk said. I agree with 40. I agree with so protection definitely is the one thing, and protection is not literally the physical, right? Is when we are true and we are solid with our masculinity, it allows women to rest in their femininity. It's only when we're not solid within our masculinity is when they are trying to take over that role and have that conflict, right?
Jezebel.
So when we are, so we got to learn how to one allow women to feel comfortable resting in femininity. We also got to learn how to provide leadership. Leadership is knowing what you can do or what you can't do. And just because you're a man doesn't mean you're supposed to do A, B, and C if the woman is better at doing A, B, and C. There's some women that can change change the oil on the car and know how to work a car. If the man don't know how to do that, he shouldn't be trying to tell, oh, I got this because I'm a man. Nah, you got to know the characteristics of the person you're with and allow them to play to their strengths. That's leadership.
That's
And
a fact.
truth is,
That's a good point.
and at the end is, and the last thing I'll say is, you say protect, I say provide leadership, and the most important thing is to understand that the truth is that nothing moves in that household without you. What goes on in that household, you got to be the last person. That's the head of the household. Now the head is no more important than the neck, but it's just a different roles. It's knowing the roles. Hammer and a nail, they both useless without each other. So knowing your role and what you can do is will help and other. And knowing when you're in that household, nothing moves without you. Nothing happens without your say so. So that's my viewpoint.
Oh, communicate. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I just had to say, when you said that, it inspired me, right? One of the main roles of the man is to communicate. We got to talk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this really quick because a lot of us, it seems like we in the same generation, right? The prior generations went through a lot. And what they learned how to do is to suffer silently. But what happened is the things that they endured, the things that they went through, a lot of that knowledge, that wherewithal to endure didn't get passed down to us. So that's why a lot of us, because the lack of communication, are confused, we're disoriented and everything. So now I would say definitely the role of the man is to communicate and to have that as the main focus in the house.
Yeah, I want to jump in.
I want to jump in too. Oh.
Yeah, y'all all y'all all have been like, my ears been ringing, right? What I want to say is that I believe that, along with what my brothers have said, that our role as a man, as masculine, has also evolved, right? So when the brother speaks about to protect, provide, and praise, recognizing that is an excellent fulcrum. That's an excellent guidepost for us to base ourselves within, but we shouldn't be tied to that guidepost. That guidepost should also be moving as we evolve, right? So while protection back in the day looked like, yo, I'm going to stand in front of you and protect you from the harm of another male, right? Or I'm gonna stand in front of you so that no harm comes your way. There's girls out here who's carrying something in their purse to do just that. So now protection looks like I'm going to make sure that your inner child, right, the part of you that still feels the trauma of the day to day now, is protected. So when you come home, I'm going to make sure that protection now looks like, yo, honey, how's your day, right? So that inner child can have some semblance of peace, right? Providing back in the day used to look like, nah, it's going to be my paycheck, and my paycheck going to cover everything that we got, right? There are women now who make double, triple that of the man, right? So providing for them, definitely, what is my check going to provide for them? What is the money in my pocket going to provide for them? That's not, providing looks different nowadays, right? Providing for them today could look like, I'm going to provide you the safe space now to be your goofy self. Why? Because when you go out in these streets, your face, you got your mask on. So I want you to take that mask off when you get here. I'm going to provide you this safe space to know that I got you, right? And even with the praise, the communication, knowing that our roles are evolving in as much as we are evolving, as a civilization, as a society, as a community, as a culture, whatever have you, that I believe is just as important as knowing what the roles are, right? There should not be any of the mincing and matching, right? Like, and by that, I mean, this whole idea of masculine, feminine energy, it exists. We as men have our feminine energy, the same as we have our masculine energy. Women have their feminine energy as much as they have their masculine energy. It just sucks that a lot of women today are more rooted in that masculine energy, right? Where they don't take any support, right? Why? Because they have to fight to get to where they are. They are very, 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 matter of fact. Why? Because their words were taken advantage of from them in the past, right? We as men got to recognize that in order for them now to get out of that masculine and more into their feminine, we have to take more of that masculine role, right? We can't be rooted in our feminine with a masculine woman, right? Because why? They're going to exude more masculinity. You feel me? So we ourselves have to exude that masculinity so they can take the step back and literally live in their femininity, right? Like we see it. The crazy shit is we see it all over the place now, right? They want their soft years, as they say, right? That's the new thing now, right? They want their soft years.
Soft life.
And so, like, I be wondering, the women who voice that so adamantly, right? Mm-hmm. I wonder if in their want of that softness, of their soft years, of that soft time for themselves, are they also willing now to allow the release of that masculinity from their spirit, right? And if they allow that release of the masculinity from their spirit, how much of us men now are willing to take on more of that masculinity for them? And again, the roles change, so it doesn't look like, yo, I got to give you the money in my pocket to provide, to protect, but how does now my masculinity evolve to provide for you, to protect you, to praise you and communicate with you? I think that to me is some John.
Damn, I
want to speak to that. Oh,
you want to speak to that? No, Roman, you can speak to that, no doubt.
Yeah. I really, I profoundly believe in everything everybody's saying. The protection, the providing, everything else that comes with being a man. But I find that more so than at 37, I find that, like more so paying attention to the internal of a person, their heart, their mind, do they pour into you? They pour onto you, love into you every day. You check in. I call it a positive check-in. Do you check in with your people? You know what I'm saying? Your friends, family, your loved one, your lover, whoever that is, you know what I'm saying? So I find it's more of a mental thing too. Like the money part, the protection, yes, that's all a given if you are raised properly to know that light of protection and providing. Yes, but I find more so that I take joy in finding a person that checks in with me, like checks on my heart, like how was your day, how are you feeling? Like we all ask each other how you doing, and you say you good, but like, do you ask the follow-up question, are you really good? Like somebody like that, like your wife, your person, your people, your whatever, whoever it is you go to, your tribe members, do they check in with you for real? That's what I find is more valuable, because you know, we do have trauma, we do have triggers, we do have traits that disseminate from divorces or this relationship or that bad friendship or this or that or whatever. But I find that I find joy and I connect with my person more when they check in with my heart, my spirit, my mind.
Questions. That's
Yeah.
So we'll get to that.
All right, so if I may, I want to answer the question, but I love what happened somewhere like with the last four gentlemen, because we talked about the roles, and then that's just kind of just turned into providing, protecting the household, where it's about finances, and then it's also about just that physical and mental protection. Remember fellas, but the Me Too movement, remember, see, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, black men, white men, Hispanic men, we were doing that. We were taking care of the house. What happened was women was catching men cheating. And then it's a whole thing now. Now it's, oh, well, what if I have my own money? What if I go ahead and do my own thing and I could just make choices the way I want to make choices, because men been doing this for decades now. And this is where I want to answer that question, because to me, protection will always be supply and demand when it comes to men. I don't know if you guys are into hip hop and the Late Night Flight podcast. We're here and there. I don't know if y'all saw that this video clip of Ice Spice almost getting her chain stolen from some guy, but who was there to protect her? Some 6'7" former defensive end dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is protect. We are here for that. We are at Walmart, cheap as hell. You will always get protection. But here's the thing, though. Hold on, but here's the thing, and I swear I'll be done, because it's kind of like question. So check it out.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
But what if I told you that realistically there aren't any roles other than that for men? Because in 2023, women are taught to be more independent than to be wives.
It's a fact too.
Yeah, big. Yeah.
Any Will or Mr. You got anything?
Ooh, I wanted to spit a statistic too. I think that like in society right now, respectfully, as we all black men, we all work, we all provide, we all do our thing. But statistically, black women, it may not ever be perceived or shown on the media like this way, but black women are the most degreed. They run businesses, they run companies. And because of the statistics of there's so many, respectfully, people that's locked up in the grave, or homosexual or whatever, there's less options for black women. So whether they become lesbian or they dive into their career, it's hard for them to spin the block when they go head first into their career. I think, Gert, you mentioned this about like women who are heavy on their career, they making money, they making the bag. So when they spin the block and they want to mate now, it's kind of, the options is kind of slim to none, because you've been so focused on the bag for so long. You looking back like, damn, I don't got nobody. I got all this money now and success. Who I'm gonna share it with? So there's a double-edged sword depending on where you go. You could pick a fool, or you could pick somebody that's got a lot of money that could treat you crazy. So it's always, because I know a lot of rich people that act like assholes. I'm sorry to curse, but they act like jerks. But then there's a lot of broke guys that got too much free time. So it's like, what I'm saying? Like this, like I'm just saying, respect.
This our channel, man. Chill.
My bad, bro. My bad. Respectfully, pardon self. My bad. But I just, what I'm saying? Like, I just think there's always a double-edged sword in terms of your red pill, your blue pill, or the matrix, right? You pick you are what you eat. So, I apologize for the profanity or whatever.
You good. We done had people. Shout out to my girl Stacey and the Chanel. She done been on here smoking blunts, honey. I want to, and they are.
Much love, Kings. Much love.
So, let's go. Will, anybody else got anything to add before we go into the next question?
I definitely.
I just want to, as far as like all the brothers up there, I agree with everything, but we have to step back into our perspective role. we have to be the representation for the younger generation that is coming up that does not know anything about this perspective role, because it really has us looking weak out here right now. That we're not doing our job, and a lot of the sisters, that's pretty much their conversation. Some sisters I meet, you know, you guys fell off. We really not into y'all no more. We dealing with the other races because y'all fell off, and now we got to gain our proper perspective back and own it. Own your role. Own the masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Be strong in your stance. Like 40 said, man, protect. Like, I mean, everything y'all said was just so on point. I just think we got to step back into our role and own it and stay there.
Yeah.
Respect.
And the last thing I want to add to it is that's why leadership is important. And I mentioned leadership because once we are leaders, it creates a space, it creates a pathway for who we are to be duplicated in the household, right? Because once we leaders, we have children that's looking up to us. We can duplicate that once we are true with ourselves. So when we start, I know somebody mentioned cheating. When we start being abusive and we operating from these other areas, it takes away from our leadership. So we got to be impeccable with our word and stay true to ourselves.
Thank you for y'all answers. We got a lot of women chiming in saying things, but I don't want this to be about us at the end. I will put your questions up, your comments up, ladies. So if you could please hold on, but keep them coming. All right. Okay. Talking about the ladies, what do you consider to be a good quality woman?
Good question.
Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead, Ro.
Energy. I think there's a lot of Cardi B's, there's a lot of city girls, there's a lot going on right now in terms of the culture, you know, vulturing across all demographics, and black, white, yellow, green. I feel like our culture is so strong that I've seen personally with my own eyes, black, white, yellow, green, Chinese, any color, they walk like us, they have the hair, they have the baby hair, they have edges, they have lashes, they have all of the things. So, you know, I think I think it's energy, the energy that makes you, those good qualities that make you want to wife that woman, that make you want to, her heart, you know what I'm saying? Like I spoke to before, you could be as beautiful as you want to be, but you could act like a roach. You could act crazy. You could act like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be around that or something too, like, nah, It's your purity, your honesty, your sincerity, you know, how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your kids. Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you pay a bill? Right, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully, like I met women like, yo, like I'm gonna call my dad. Like, you wanna call your dad? You 33? What you talking about? No, don't call your dad. What you doing? Don't do that. Like, no, we got to be able to be like just work ethic, independence. So many things that cover what it is to be amazing as a woman, as a whole self. Just like we're looked at to be so many things: a father, a husband, a provider, this or that, a protector. All of these things, you got to spin the mirror and spin the block and say, like, okay, I can do all of these things. What about you? Your turn.
Somebody else was going next. My bad.
Now you got it, 40. You can go first. I mean, second. I go third.
The first thing I'm gonna say that a man looks at is if a woman has class. That's the first thing. Well, obviously your beauty is gonna attract them, but that ain't gonna keep a man. So I'm gonna say class is number one. If you have class, it's a vibe. You're willing to compromise, and as we was talking, you was talking about certain women with masculinity. I think if let me see, how can I word this? The perfect woman for me, I would say, is someone who has a balance. We don't need you to be tougher than the guy at all times. I don't want to come in the house and you at 100, because then I feel like I got to get to 1,000 just for you to hear me. You see what I'm saying? So like if we could compromise and just, you know, be able to communicate, that's the most essential thing to a relationship as far as having the qualities for a woman that I look at least. You know what I'm saying? Because most women nowadays, like we said, They on 1,000, and I'm not here to bash, but man, y'all got to tone it down a little bit. But that's not everybody. So if you take offense, then I guess you one of them.
I know, right?
Latoya, hold on. Who was the person that just put up a comment of someone about the roaches?
Roaches are
I need that. Miss Lugo said not a roach though. LOL. Roaches are resilient though, and I want to unless no, because she 1 million
in a fire, honey.
This is why. Look, I know that we are in the time we're going to talk about the City Girls. You're going to talk about Cardi B, right? And there's no right or wrong. Here goes my opinion about that. If I walked into a relationship with Cardi B, you know who Cardi B is to me? Breadwinner, because she makes way more money than me. With that being said, women that are having this quote unquote richidity now in these days, look, they still going to college, they're still graduating, they're still having a career. They just have a mentality, but they're still doing something. They're being busy to get into that bag. With all that being said, I think what Rose said earlier about the energy is dope. More importantly, imagine you just meeting a woman with less baggage than the last woman you met. I think that is as good as it's going to get right now. I want to meet the next woman with damn near no baggage. Like, baby, where you going? I'm going to Miami. You ain't got no luggage. Exactly. Marry me now. I'm your luggage. I'm coming with you,
bro. Let me jump in on you real quick. You just said that you're gonna look at her as the breadwinner, right? Because she get into the bag.
No, I'm looking at it. I'm being funny. I'm saying she's the breadwinner because she's already rich as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like she's already. That's what I'm saying. I'm making the point. That's the point I see you. It's all good. It's all good. I see, but no. What I'm just saying is that this person with, mind you, the great things about Cardi B as far as her authenticity. Like she just looks like that girl from The Spy, so right here over here in the hood on First Street. But she made it. No, but she made it to the top though. Realistically, not for The Spyers, bro.
Not for The Spyers, bro. I ain't heard that.
Hey yo, man. Is she not? That's not. Is that not what she represent though? Realistically?
No. She that chick on the block.
That's all I'm saying. And if she came up right now, pulled up in a Maserati and hollered at any one of us, we not saying no. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna sit there and be like, nah, Cardi, your energy on stage is like,
I am.
It's kind of, and that's fine.
Well, you ain't gonna hop in a Maserati because it's a Maserati.
It's a lot of
whatever you got, if I ain't got it, I'm gonna get it. I ain't worried about none of that.
Yeah, no, and that's cool. But the point I'm making, and that's fine logic by you. I ain't knocking that. There's a lot of men, you know what I'm saying, that where I had these water cooler conversations at work. We talk this crap about certain type of women, but they be the same type of women some of us men would go lay down in bed with too. So with that being said, that's why I'm saying it like that, because they
you ain't gonna put that ring on it.
They're resilient. You know what I'm saying? Like they're here. Like, we want to talk to them. We may not act like they're wifey material because of some type of quote unquote, what my man Rose said, energy, which is correct. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is that in 2023, these quote unquote persons with that type of energy are still running around on Forbes, still running around graduating, still running around being persistent, being busy, being determined, being productive. And you know what? You can give me one of these city girls, so as long as, you know, we could build something. But right now, I mean, well, we get into a personal point. We can get that for another question, but I just feel like the good quality woman just comes with less baggage, because you can look like Glorilla, but if you're raised right, you got some issues that like you got your issues together, you might have a chance. That's just how I look at it now in these days.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna jump in here. All right. So the question that what's the name? Google, where she posted, she said, define class. I'm gonna do my best in define class. So class, I agree. Class is something a woman has, right? Class is it's carrying yourself a certain way. Not any way, but a certain way. Is doing things with grace. Having patience, having understanding. Having the openness to go and become whatever you want. Even if you can't cook, if you know that this is a role that you want to step in and be that, you'll learn. You'll do the lessons to go cook. You won't limit yourself to what you can do if you love the man that you're with. That to me is what I could define as class. And for me, a good woman, yeah, it's cool about what your mouth do. Like your mouth do, that's great. I want to know what your heart do. I don't want to know what your soul do. I want to know that if I'm being at my lowest, are you gonna be there? Because the truth is, all of us men, we say we want to be able to, we are the protectors, but the truth is, we want protection too. Men want protection. Men want to know that if I'm vulnerable with you, you got me.
That's
Like
a
you're not
fact.
going to use that against me. You're not going to bash me because of it. So the
That's
truth
class.
is, that's right there is class.
Okay.
Yeah,
Salute that.
that's a fact though. I'm gonna jump in real quick. I'm gonna definitely go with class as well, man. That's just like the foundation. It's connected. It's also connected to self love. I feel like, having self love is the foundation to all these relationships to come afterwards. So I feel like if you know who you are as a woman, then your relationships with other people will just flow, right? Because I feel like, a woman of class would treat other people the way she would want to be treated, and she'll move in a certain way. And, she also teaches people how to respect her by what she allows too. And I think that's something that, we look over. Well, some women look over because, you see some of these relationships that are falling apart, and, a lot of the times they want to blame the man for it. But, what did you do to attract this male? What did you cause? Every cause has an effect, right? Whatever it is that you allow in any of your relationships will continue to happen, whether that's good or bad. And I think as a woman of quality, she will know when to check it at the right time. So I'll go with that.
We have someone chiming in. I want to just put one of the comments that one of the ladies said. Sarah, I appreciate you. I see you be watching the show and adding your input. So I don't know if all her, I'm just going to read it for her. It says, but Cardi B, Beyonce, Sierra, they sing about, but their lives are totally different. They want to be wives. They are wives to beautiful Black men, and women seem to forget that. She also said that, but at the end of the day, they try to diminish our Black men. We have to show them, the populace and ourselves, that this is not true. It's the wrong narrative.
Being unified and not uniform.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't even see it. My eyes are bad. Unified and uniform. Thank you.
It's all about perception. That's why. It's what looks good on paper. Ain't nobody trying to do the work behind that. So it's like everybody's so focused on that bag and what looks good.
Right.
So,
And then let's be real. When it comes to Black men, and history tells us, they never give a fuck about us. They're not trying to sit here and try to help us. Media is not trying to put out messaging and things to help us grow and become our better selves. They're going to do things and tactics to try to destroy us and divide the home. So it's our job to see that and realize that, hey, that's a trap, and not to fall into it. And that's what us as men can do. I know that went back away from the question, but I wanted to state that.
Before we move forward, does anybody else want to answer this before we get to the next question?
Yeah, I want to say one thing. I think Cal had mentioned it earlier about having that balance of the femininity and the masculinity, right? That unique relationship, right? Again, that we all have that sacred masculine and divine feminine within us, right? Femininity is fragile but not weak. You feel me? Glass is fragile but not weak, right? It can easily shatter, or it can sit there and stop a bullet. You dig? It's about how it's handled now that dictates whether or not it breaks, whether or not it falls apart, right? And I think that's huge when we think about it from a relationship point of view as well too. If femininity also exists in me, right? Are you providing me a space to not shatter? right? The being able to, and I don't just mean like, oh, you know, a shoulder to cry on, right? I mean the ability to not be my everything, but be someone I can share my everything with, right? I think that is something in itself. When I think of a good woman, you know, I think I've been exposed to a lot of good women. I think I've been exposed to a lot of, you know, not so good women. Let me say it like that, right? And I think the one congruent thing that I could think of in all of the good women I've been exposed to is the fact of their ability to be someone now that I come to, and for whatever reason, you feel me? Like come to because some other John is wilding out, and now I just need a female perspective to understand what the fuck is going on through her head. She's like, right? Someone I can come to be like, yo, I'm thinking about, you know, making this career move. You know, what do you think about it? Be someone I can come to be like, yo, my energy is from the unit, it's pulling everywhere. Yo, you can pull some cards for me, right? Like, that is something that I look to, not to my brothers for, right? My brothers reinforce the kind of feedback I get from my sisters when I share that part of myself with them, right? And so a good woman to me is literally, like they've said it before, having that ability to just, yo, low key, man, to be continued, yo. I'm now you got me thinking. Yeah, you got me thinking about hearing all this other stuff.
Yeah, keep going. And that kind of goes into like what we were saying next. Like, what is a way your partner can show appreciation? So that's.
You might go first. Fuck it, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first. Showing me appreciation, shouting me out, and I don't mean shouting me out to the world. I mean shouting me out to me. You feel me? Sometimes I be so lost in the sauce, I forget my own fucking awesome. I forget my own awesomeness. You dig? And in the forgetting of my awesomeness, I start to quandary whether or not like things are happening or am I enough? Things like that. You feel me? And low key, I know I'm awesome, 100%. Like
those thoughts make you more awesome, so you gotta have that though.
You feel me? No one's gonna remove that. Yeah. But low key, you forget. You can forget, and you fall you got the blinders on. You fall victim to the chaos and the noise outside. That like those are oftentimes louder than the old push of like, yo, how awesome are you? And just shouting me out to me, yo, you doing it. Shout out to that. Yo, I saw you. Look, keep it going. And I'm facts, 100%. You don't gotta do nothing more than that, and you got me. You know, of course, I love the skin to skin. You know, give me a hug. You know, stuff like that. But literally, just the feeling of knowing that you are not only watching, but you're rooting for me, right? Like you're rooting for me. You're
cheerleader.
Yeah, you know, you're hoping that I succeed in whatever it is. You got it.
I agree. Because as a man, you could have 1,000 cheerleaders outside, but if home ain't doing it, you looking like what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So.
That's real talk.
Information.
He's spitting that poetry, bro. He's spitting that poetry.
Hey, man. Yo, he went deep and then
yeah. I felt like snapping. I was like, man, this guy's like,
I didn't want to come
like, how do we can I speak though? Can I speak? I really to spin a block on what I was speaking on before, like physical connection, you know, all of that stuff is amazing. but like I said, pouring into your person, building them up, the positive check-ins throughout the day, just to say, hey, how you doing? How's your heart? How's your mind? How was that meeting you had today? Did everything go well? Like checking in with your person, like that, I think more goes further than gifts or, you know, like time is very valuable and important as well. But I really feel like, you know, you check on your tribe. You check on your tribe, especially your tribe leaders. We all tribe leaders in our own right, and we lead our homes, we lead our lives. But to check on your people, even your kids, whoever, but with your person or the, you know, like your person, especially if a woman does it, like, because we also like busy with work and life and bills and this and that and all of that stuff. So it's the real like positive check-ins with your people, like those that you love, that's in your circle, that's in your phone, that's the top 5 in your phone. Like, do you check on them? Do you check on them? You know what I'm saying? That to me goes further than anything else. Like, I don't need no money, I don't need no gifts all the time, but just to call, I just want to hear your voice and make sure you're all right, you know?
That's nice to know that. I've been hearing that a lot lately from men, and I think like innately, like women, we talk a lot. So when a guy is really close to you, he's gonna open up his mouth and say something. If you don't give him the space to speak, then that's gonna be a red flag right there. Because it's like
last time
that's a fact.
He doesn't talk to people, and not only that, like he's choosing you to give like this personal, deep information to. It's like you should take that as a blessing, and to know like, okay, like you in this with him or what have you. So I met a woman one time. I was around her or her man, and he was like, "Babe, let me tell you what happened at work." And she's like, "I don't give a f what happened at work. Keep that to yourself." And I'm saying like, "Girl, like he trying to talk to you." Like I was trying to get involved in their like relationship, but I felt like, wow, like how you expect to keep him, and he's like really trying to share with you what happened during his day. What happened?
He going to get toxic in a minute.
Like, so let me jump. I want to jump in just to that point right there. What I need, number one, most importantly, is number one, cater to my love language, right? Quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation. All the 3 things that's my 3 high areas to stimulate me on. That's number one. But also, right, understand this. I'm speaking for men here. Many women lead with love, and they believe love is the thing. And there's nothing wrong with love. But for us, it's more for us to feel respected. We all want to.
I was
feel
gonna go
respected.
with that.
That's the number one thing. Because if you can sit here and you talk about, oh, I love him, that shit sound good. But if you're gonna curse him out because he ate your eggs or your chips and didn't replace the bag, that's something a man don't want to feel disrespected or feel like his presence is not respected. So understand that, so for me, cater to my love languages, but also understand that respect is the thing that's most important to me. And don't feel like just because you are in a moment of where you're at, that it's okay to disrespect me, even though we established love.
I was gonna go with that with respect. That's the foundation right there, because respect is like flowers to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, y'all get flowers, y'all like it, but respect, it goes a long way, especially because it makes us feel like significant in a woman's eyes. And it's like, it's just something that, you know, it motivates us to do better with respect. I feel like if a man doesn't have a good day and he comes home to that safe haven and, you know, she destroys it by disrespecting him, then everything could just go downhill after that. And we're very good at shutting down. So it's just like, man, I shut down for years and I finally met the person. You're going to sit here and judge me for what I do, or not even give me constructive criticism. I'm going to shut down all the way. So I feel like respect is definitely the key. It goes a long way.
Let me say this too, and a lot of people don't know this, right? You know the song Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, right? You know that was written by
James Brown.
Otis Redding. No, Otis Redding. Otis Redding wrote that song. So it was a man that wrote that song because his words was, "I want some respect when I get back home." So respect is very big amongst men.
I agree.
I know women gonna come back and say, "Oh, but y'all gotta have something for us to respect."
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast, bro. That's a whole nother podcast, my brother.
This isn't about us today.
Yeah. They gonna have their chance, bro.
That's a fact.
Next time, ladies' night. So we're gonna have an episode with all women. So catch us next month.
Oh man, definitely watch that.
I'm gonna have to be tuned in with my popcorn with that
one. Popcorn, chips, soda, everything.
Everything.
That's movie night.
Anybody else have anything to add before we go to the next question?
I thought all the answers was pretty good. For me, I would just say, because I think this question is more of an aptitude test. It just showcases our personalities. There's no real right or wrong answer to this. For me, it's more of, I just don't want you to expect anything. I just want you to execute. That's me. That's how you can show appreciation for me. Just execute. Now, we're about to get into some other stuff. So let's just get into that next question. That's how I'm going to answer it.
Let's get into
Don't expect, execute. That's all I'm going to say to the ladies.
How long would you date before getting married?
I think it
like I've seen people make people wait for like years. I've seen people together for 20 years, and then they finally did it, and that was really nice because it showed like, okay, this ring doesn't mean anything. It's like, are you willing to stand the fight? And then you have some people that are like, hey, I see something in you, and let's get this going. So what are y'all answers?
I think it depends on the woman, honestly. But I mean, to keep it real, it don't take men a long time to realize if she's the one or not. It's a conviction that we receive. We just don't show it yet, but we just got to see what she about. But I feel like, with me, it took me about a year to propose. So, but I knew within like 6 months that she would be the one. I ain't get married yet, but it's getting there, right? But what I'm saying is, it's just I guess it's just a conviction that you get, over time, and when you really study the character of a woman, you know off bat, you just gotta have enough discernment to know. That's all. I'll say that.
Yeah. How I answer that? Oh, go ahead. You want to go ahead, Doctor?
Yeah.
Dr. Love.
Time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. So I don't care for the time. If you're the one, you're the one. You get married in 6 months if you're the right one. It might take 10 years. It just being the right one, right situation, right moment. It doesn't, because the truth is, it's just marriage. Yes, is an important thing, and I get that. That's important. So for me, it's about finding the right person who I want to be married before I'm worried about marriage. I'm not putting the horse before the carriage. I want that person before I'm talking about when we're going to get married. So I'm not putting no time limit to it, because if the situation is right and the person is right, it can happen real quick.
That's a fact.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it boils down to energy, chemistry, energy, like the love, the building, the foundation. I think love is built on foundation, the construct, like how you communicate with each other. Do you laugh? Do you really enjoy each other's presence? Do you look forward to each other's phone calls? Because when you look at the phone and you don't like that phone call coming through, you're like, I don't want that. Like, I ain't doing that no more. So, I've been there, like, nope, block. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, it definitely boils down to chemistry, energy, and where you at in your heart at that time. Because, like, things are seasonal. Sometimes you go through depression, anxiety, mental health issues, stress, financial issues, or whatever. So if the stars align and you guys collide and, it feels amazing at that time, and the right trajectory is there, and y'all is up, it's an upward momentum, then why not? If it's up, then it's stuck, right?
That part. That part.
A lot of Cardi B references in this chat. Like, Cardi B a lot.
Yeah. I guess I'll do like her. I guess she's a good artist. I didn't know I was that big of a fan. My bad. I didn't know. My bad. I'm just learning.
It's a lack thereof, man. Men cheat because we are
black men don't cheat.
Facts.
Next question.
I'm running with that. Next question.
Next question.
Black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat. Okay, women, you heard it first.
Yo, your next podcast is gonna be crazy.
Word.
Go ahead.
Real? No.
Go ahead, Hop.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So this question is so multi-layered, and I'm gonna try to keep it real short and sweet. First thing I'll say is this: one of the reasons men cheat is one, because they don't know about soul ties. They don't know about, that's a whole different conversation. I don't want to go too much into that, but that's one reason, is because they don't know about soul ties. They don't know that every time you're intimate with a woman, a woman intimate with a man, you actually create a bond that goes beyond that relationship. So even if you leave that person behind, you're still connected to them. Anyway, that's the first part, right? So they don't know about soul ties. Two is because it goes by the model that you have when you're a young man. So for example, let's say you had your older brother and you looked up to him, and your older brother always had a whole bunch of women, for example, and it seemed like the women had property, they had cars, they had a nice job, they had a lot of material stuff. So now you grow up with the mindset like, oh, he had multiple women, that's the route to go. So you actually model yourself, and you kind of, like, a lot of the times, if a man doesn't have another voice to show him the right way, he goes the way that he's shown. So whatever he sees and whatever affirms him, whatever gives him an identity, is what he replicates. So if it's that older brother or that uncle or that grandfather, whatever he was like, you kind of keep that thing going. You know what I'm saying? Unless, like I said, there's a different voice, a different conversation, some transformation that happens along the way. And so that's the second part.
I was with you. I was going to just say, Mr. Hakeem, I agree with you 100% on that. It goes back to my personal theme for myself on this show, where it's just generational. You just basically broke that down. I was a young man. I didn't see my father go out in the streets and do X, Y, and Z. But when I was a young man, the people I looked up to was usually some D-boys. Maybe a couple of my older uncles, like older uncles, like a couple of my older brothers, I meant to say. Watch them do what they do, and then you watch it, How to Be a Player with Bill Bellamy. You just writing your own book. You're writing your own playbook to this. And then when you go to college, you're like, you know what? Let me go ahead and be Andy Reid and we'll run some plays. Let me do a quarterback sneak. You're trying to figure this stuff out. And it's like, damn, at the end of the day, I still want to be looked at as a decent human being. I didn't mean no wrong, no harm, but Bill Bellamy told me I can do this. So I'm going to be with what Bill told me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's a star, and I'm gonna follow the man that was on MTV. So that's
exactly,
that's just how I believe.
Ain't from Newark. From Newark. So what are you talking about?
I want to say, like, representation, like the brother just said, representation is so important, because, like, being from East Orange, like my man said, you look up to the D-boys, you look up to your older uncles, you look up to everybody and what they're doing. Ultimately, you're going to follow that path.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of them strings may pull and tug at certain things, but you're going to follow that path because it looks like it's the cool thing to do. I looked at the movie Love and Basketball, right? Quincy's father, you know what I'm saying? In marriage looked like it was perfect, right? But when he learned that he cheated, then he started to act a certain way towards Sanaa Lathan. So again, it's about representation. If your father was an upstanding dude and you saw him take care of your mother, ultimately you're gonna be that. You're gonna be that. So I think like the brother said, man, representation matters.
Yep. What happened to Prince in Purple Rain? He saw his father smack that woman. What he do to Apollonia?
Simple. Wait. I think you should drop the mic after that one. Just drop the mic for us. Just drop the mic. That was poetry, bro. See, it's a lot of We need a poetry podcast. We need a poetry podcast. That's crazy.
So I would say too. Okay, so representation. I think we all could agree. So That's across the line. I think as we get older, we start to have a difference in learning and what's right and what's wrong. I think what it comes down to is this: it's unhealed trauma and what we consider been conditioned to be the male ego is why men still cheat. Because men cheat because again, the more the better for a man's ego. The more the better. The more I have, the more the man I am, right? It says a lot about me if I can get into these situations. But if you operate from a hurt space, then yeah, you can have, because it's not the issue of how many women you have. The issue is the fact that you will could tell this one woman that is only you when you got others. That's the issue, right? So hurt people, and a lot of times with men who are dealing with hurt themselves don't know how to properly communicate when they're not ready to be in a monogamous situation.
Yeah,
So
you
they'll
talk.
go along with a relationship thinking that that's the thing to do to keep this person, because that person make them feel good. That person makes them feel like they the king, they the greatest. But they still got this insatiable need inside of them to fulfill that ego within because they haven't fully healed or nurtured that part. So let's say if it's a man that realized that monogamy is not for him, if a healed person can, or a more heal, I wouldn't say completely healed, but a person that's along that healing journey can better communicate that, hey, I can't do monogamy, right? But I would still have a structure and a discipline on how I go about this, and and he would speak that to the woman he's dealing with. A person who's not healed will say, "Hey, it's only you," and and treat you right, do all those things, but having something on the side and making sure you don't find out. So it's
Mm.
really about the place of that man, and that's what it truly boils down to.
All right, I got one more thing to say, and so I'm gonna do the spiritual thing, right? So absolutely, right? Like our wife could be doing everything right, and we may have saw the role model and everything, but I have to confront this. We all have a sin nature, right? So there's a part of us that literally is not right, right? Just by being born on this planet, we're messed up. There's some stuff in our system that's messed up. And when that stuff is not addressed and corrected through a process, what happens is that nature, that those tendencies overpower you. And if you don't have something to overpower it, you will go in a direction whatever you feel. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's like our body literally, there's a sin nature that we have that lean toward what's not good, what's not right. Like you could be doing everything right, and then all of a sudden you hear a voice, oh, text this person. Or you could be going through a situation and you're like you talked about on Dr. Love Jones, you say like you have unhealed trauma. So you're going through a situation, and instead of communicating to your partner or doing something to feel better that's productive, you actually go do the thing that's not productive. Like you may go start drinking, or you may go out and start party, whatever else, like you may start doing things that are not healthy, that are not productive. Because cheating is not only when you're cheating on your partner, you could cheat. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. There's other things that you can cheat on. It's not just your partner.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
I agree.
that's deep.
I agree. I don't think
That's the
that.
word.
You can cheat on your
That's the word.
purpose. I go there.
You can cheat on your purpose.
You
Facts.
can cheat on your
Facts.
assignment. You can
Right.
cheat on your own vision.
Facts.
That's
And
a
this,
fact.
I think
because that's the thing. Because that's the thing. I don't think that focusing on us focusing on the why of the nature removes the fact that it's a thing, right? It removes the fact that it becomes, and
It becomes a
there's
part of
so
our
many
culture.
reasons why, right? It can be a reason like escapism, right? I
True.
have a fear that this
Yeah.
relationship is going to be successful, so I got to find ways to bow out, right? I got to find ways to sabotage it, right?
Yep.
This as much as it is that like a matter of control. I just want to have all of these women around me, and it's just a thing for me. You feel me? So that spectrum is so large that I think that focusing on the why of the matter is less pertinent than focusing on the movements forward because that's a thing, right?
And it's
like that individual who cheats now, the question now comes to, I got to figure out why. What part of me is pulling me towards doing this, right? For the person who has been cheated on, I got to figure out why. I got to figure out if I'm going to stay now. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Yo, you right, yo. I think we all love Cardi B. You know, she's like the hood's favorite rapper, right?
Cultural icon right now.
We look at her, and a lot of times people, you know, question her decision to stay after, you know, so blatant of whatever is going on in their relationship, and less than trying to be like, yo, he did this and that. You know, you have so much reason to leave, right? We do less of understanding, yo, what is pulling you to stay? What is pulling you to, because recognize that whatever is pulling her to stay lives in a part of her being that has healed from something. You feel me?
But that's a good point. But on the flip side too is that they could be having a polygamous relationship, but they can't promote it through media because they don't want to lose their fan base.
There's so much. So even PPA, even in a polygamous relationship that they don't want to expose to their family, it means that I've healed myself enough to be able to share myself with multiple people and still keep my identity.
Colombian.
I feel like we running off the concept of cheating in a relationship is part of the ups and downs of a relationship. And I feel like in order for us to make a relationship work, we have to quote unquote cheat in order for it to work. And I feel like because we run off of that concept and we just feel like, ain't no relationship perfect, so we might as well just build off of that. And because growing up, we feel like being a gallus is the way to go and having all these different women, because it's like, if I have 10, 15 different women, I'm a real man, and this is how I'm about to move. But we gotta unlearn that to relearn, you know, what it is to be faithful to yourself. You know what I mean? Because you cheating on yourself, you're not even cheating on your partner, because you're selling yourself short. It's just like you know, you take what Halle Berry and Eric Benet, like it's just a situation like that, and it's just like, damn, this dude just messed up everything, and it's just like you feel empty inside, man. That shit don't help you. So it's just like I don't know, man. Like I've been there, like my fiance know, like I cheated in all my relationships. I've never been faithful. This is the only relationship I've been faithful in. You know what I mean? But it's tough though.
That's healing.
It's tough because it's like, you know, every time a man wants to change, here comes 3-4 women inboxing you, and then it's just like it's like, damn. And now I'm like, you just gotta show them, man. Like it's hard to separate from that, man. Especially with the music we listen to and the culture and everything like that. And it's just like it just makes it difficult, man. It's hard, but I overcame it. But I think it was the lack of knowledge that led us to like cheat. And it's just like, you know, our lack of knowledge literally destroys us. Like it destroys us.
And it lack knowledge about ourselves. That's the
That's a fact. That's the foundation.
Well,
I'll go with that.
No, I was just agreeing with the brother. You know, like even with self-love and self-knowledge and self-care, like if we don't have that, like you said, you end up cheating yourself. You're breaking yourself down. So, I mean, what the brother said was 100, man. Salute that.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. Like I value genuine connections, and I've you know, like if you lose something amazing, a woman, a man, or whatever the context of the relationship is, it's like breaking your own heart. You know what I'm saying? Like you lose a gold bar that you got in your hand, a diamond. There's something that you should probably cherish. By cheating or doing whatever you do to lose that connection, you like, you know, at the end of the day, you break your own heart by doing so, because now you out here seeking that feeling when you had it. You know what I'm saying? When you should have kind of nurtured it or took care of it when you had it, and holding on to that value. But oftentimes, sometimes, we don't see the value in things until we lose it. And that's, for context, I'm not there anymore. Like, if you got gold, keep that.
Keep that.
All right, going off of everything that was said, we are coming close to the end. This show had ran a little long, but I always I like conversations that flow. So that's the blessing out of it, and I think that a lot of people got gems out of it. So we're gonna have to do a part two. But I wanted to go over some of the things the ladies were saying in the background. I didn't want them to kind of like disturb what was going on because it would have extended the time. So going back from the beginning, Lynn said there were lots of black male teachers. I guess this is going back to you, Chuck. Lots of black male teachers when I was in school. But then again, we didn't have social media always focusing on celebrity. She said, you all may be told to suck it up, but there are men holding grudges about their first grade girlfriend and who broke their heart. Oh my gosh, that's another.
That's another show. That's a whole nother show.
Like once you break the guy's heart, it's like F this chick. Like I'm telling you, it's just.
You must ask Miss Lynn who was the boyfriend that broke her heart in first grade. Only she knows that.
No, but respect.
No, ask her actually what boyfriend heart she broke when she was in school. What guy heart she broke.
There you go.
She also said more black men need to incorporate spirituality in their daily lives. The world is corrupt and trauma is shared by all.
Right.
Okay, we got PS work from home. They really tried to diminish and make our black men look insignificant, but we gotta show not only ourselves but them that they are wrong. Okay, girl.
Fact.
Okay, hold on. Karita got a question, so I'm gonna allow 3 people to say it. So whoever gets to it first gets to it. What have prevented you as a black man to step in that role outside the system being against you?
I got it.
Go ahead.
Courage. Being brave enough to say, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Every day we wake up as black men, we walk out our door, we could come across respectfully a police issue. We could run across a situation where we come across another person that looks like us and it turns into something violent. We could come across any combination of situations that could come up throughout the day that could essentially take our lives or whatever, challenge our freedom or put us in the grave. So I think to face anything, whether it's a business, whether it's a woman, whether it's a job or whatever you want, is having the heart and the muscle, the stamina to say, this is what I'm gonna do, regardless. Like it's kind of like having tunnel vision about your purpose, right? I think whatever you aiming at, even you like the Black Ricky Lake, you about to be popping, you Oprah. So you got the courage to do this. Look what you're doing. You put all of us together. What other context would any of this happen? So I want to give you your flowers, Toya, because you're amazing. Like, look at this. Like this is crazy. This is like a high school reunion. So respectfully, but I just think it's just having heart and that muscle to get up every day and say, yo, this is what I'm about to do, and standing on 10 toes down.
I think we talked about it in the beginning. Well, I know I did, as far as just about having supervision, having people around you monitoring what it is you got going on when you're a young man, young boy. You don't, I think the brother for me on my screen, he's in the middle. He's the one that's from New York. We have lack of knowledge. I don't mean to get biblical, but Hosea 4:6, they say my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. You just got to realize that at the end of the day, I had parents on top of parents on top of parents. Like, and this is me personally. I'm just one person. That's so in the room, late night flight. It wasn't happening. Like me going to the streets on that level where you're going to do time. That was never going to happen. Like I was never raised to be that type of person. So. It's not about just graduating college. It's more of just having that plan. You can go to a trade school and be an electrician. It's just more of what is the path that you're going to take to create your legacy, young man.
One more.
I'm going to say this. We always fall for the trap. And that's what happens. The trap. The trap that we say is in our corner. The trap house. Those traps. We always fall for those things because we haven't truly healed from the trauma that was not only caused by us, but caused by the ancestors that came before us. We are embodying not our own traumas, but the traumas of those that came before us. So until we learn how to heal those traumas, we're gonna fall for those traps, and we're always gonna be a part of this system that we truly know that's not for us.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you guys. And we have two more comments. So a reason or excuse doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's because oftentimes there's positive reinforcements, there's negative reinforcements. You could be nagging your man to the point that he doesn't want to come inside the house. He sits outside the car or goes to a bar, and he ends up finding someone at that right time, the wrong place, who makes him at the wrong place, who makes him feel good, and it just happens. I'm not saying it is good because I have been have been cheated on. However, I see how it can happen. Okay, okay. Thank you. We see that there are women out here who do understand, and they understand also that from their actions, it can cause a man to go out there, be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because it says a nagging, woman can send a man to the rooftop. So I do definitely believe that we have to make sure that you guys come home to a sanctuary, to a place of peace. Especially when you have to go out there and endure the world. So, and a lot of times,
safe haven.
We're enduring the world too, but I think that God made us strong enough to endure, because we're like octopus. You see that Proverbs 31 woman, she has so many jobs or whatever. So God equipped us to be multifaceted in such a way to endure that. Sometimes people talk to me and be like, oh my goodness, you're doing so much, you're doing so much, but it's not so much to me. This is my normal, so he prepared me to be able to take on all these things. Sometimes I have to give myself rest. That's why rest is very important, but we are prepared as women to take on a lot of those things because that's how we were made. Thank you, Becca. And we have one more comment by Eric. It says, if you have to cheat or want to get revenge, karma is going to come back to you. So be careful.
That's a fact.
Okay. And with that being said, I just want to thank you all for being on the show again. I'm going to go around the table and have you guys introduce yourself and tell the folks where they can find you at. We're going to start off with you, sir.
All right. So once again, my name is Javon Dr. Love Jones. I'm the author of this book right here. You can get this book if you're in North. You can go down to Source of Knowledge, get you a copy there, or you can just go to my website, levelupthat'slife.com. But you can find me on most social platforms. I am _ Dr. Love Jones. And the last thing I want to tell and this is just a download I got from listening to the show, is this. For all my men, this is my message to you guys. Trust the real, not the real. Now, the real I'm talking about is the REAL. That's the real that we gotta trust, and that's based off our perspective of how we see reality. But what we need to stay away from is the REEL, that real, because the real is the imagery that they program us to think that's real. They use the real to give us what's real. And also the REEL is the thing that's attached, is the rope that's attached with the bait at the end. So when you go for that bait, you get reeled in. And now you're in a trap situation. So we gotta learn to trust the real, what we perceive as reality, and not what someone else wants us to feel that's reality, and not what's forced upon us to believe was reality. That's my message.
Thank you so much. What you got to say?
I appreciated this opportunity to connect with all of the gentlemen, the kings, even your perspective, Toya. I think this is a great platform for us to speak our hearts, speak our truth, stand in our essence of who we really are as men. I can be found on Instagram at Romaine in Real Life, Facebook Romaine Lynch on Facebook. I just like to show love and spread light, and I'm an aspiring dentist, oral surgeon. So when it's time for you to get your teeth repaired, come holler at me.
All right.
What you got to say?
Hey, cuz, look, man, I just want to say thank you so much for having me up here with these great gods, these guys right here, the kings right here, man. Salute. As far as my podcast goes, it's at William Rutledge, the William Rutledge podcast that you can see back here. I talk about health, talk about my life, motivation, mental health, anything that I could think of, just daily motivation. I try to give it because it's just some things that we are lacking in our community, and I want to bring that to the forefront. Once again, all the brothers up here, thank you for your perspectives because I learned some new things today. And once again, Toya, I love you. Thank you.
Peace. And what you got to say?
I just want to say I definitely appreciate you for the opportunity. Shout out to everyone. Definitely appreciate the platform. You can follow my main page, Colombian Dread. You can also follow my motivational page, The Best Come From the Worst. And also, I'm revamping my watch company, so you can follow that page as well for updates. It's j.taylor by James Taylor. So you can follow that page as well on IG. And if you think you know music, you can follow my TikTok page, Colombian Dread, as well. I have over 30,000 followers just speaking on music and samples and things of that nature. But again, I just definitely appreciate the opportunity and shout out to everybody.
All right.
Peace. What's going on?
Let me get my mic up. All right. So, first things first, Latoya, thank you so much for allowing the Late Night Flight podcast, allowing Nasur Nuru to be on this platform with the Kings, talking about the King, just talking about what we need to be doing. Just the future of what the Black American King should look like in 2023 and beyond. I really appreciate that. Of course, the Late Night Flight podcast is a new take on hip hop radio. It has garnered 30,000 downloads through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Go ahead and check that out. It's an audio podcast. And what we are doing is we're shifting all of our, well, not all of it, we're just shifting the concept of the Late Night Flight podcast and turning it to a show. And I can't wait to show you what's going to happen. It's everyday podcast. It's going to be something very different, a little more acting. And I'm just very happy for what's going on. So again, Latoya, thank you so much for allowing the Late Night Flight, allowing Nasur Nuru to talk that talk about men here on Whatever You Say podcast.
Period. And what's going on?
What's up, family? So, I just want to give you a shout out first, Free. I love what you're doing. I love being a part of everything that you're doing. And I have so much appreciation for you just being obedient and being vulnerable and also being courageous enough to be a part of these conversations. Once again, my name is Hakeem Telefaro. I am the founder of the Telefaro. Really quick fun fact about the company is we're a Black luxury fragrance brand. We've been able to be featured by large pages like We Buy Black. We had our products in Elle magazine. This weekend, we're going to be in Nordstrom in New York City. We got some really cool things going on. But one of the things I just wanted to share really quickly too before I head out is I actually just recently launched a new podcast series titled "Don't Marry Delilah." I encourage every man or woman to listen to it because there's a thing that we think that Delilah only is. It can only be a man. I'm sorry. It can only be Delilah attacking Samson. Yeah. Sometimes it could be the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the man can be the Delilah too. But anyway, I encourage anyone who is looking to do business, anyone looking to get married, listen to this series because covenants are permanent. You know what I'm saying? So you want to protect yourself. You want to protect your legacy, your vision, your purpose. So tune it. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, everywhere. Alpha Talk, you type it in, you should be able to find it. And if anything else, Toya will get that to you. Blessings.
Blessing. And last but not least, you're on mute. I
gotta be the last big one on me, right? What's going on again, everybody? It's Chuck here, your favorite digital Pan-African tech shaman, mental health advisor for our teenagers, educator, philosopher, and all-around awesome individual. You can find me on social media platforms, Twitter, Be Awesome Chuck, IG, Be Awesome from Chuck. and follow some of our pages. A New Day Project STEM programs. Everything is linked in my bio on my IG. Again, Be Awesome from Chuck, all one word. Toya, shout out to you. Rage, you are phenomenal. This is dope to be able to dialogue with the Kings and get everyone's perspective. I took my notes down for some of the things some brothers said earlier. So I'm definitely glad and appreciative that you offered me the opportunity to come on and share my 2 cents.
Listen, I think you guys gave more than 2 cents. I gave it.
I think we gave it. I think we gave the bank, bro. I think we gave the bank, the whole bank. We gave the whole.
Bag.
I gave a whole money bag. But I just myself project that I appreciate you all. And I thank you all for being a part of this show. You have all like inspired me in some shape or fashion in my life. Karita said, great job, gentlemen. Yeah, I think that you guys did more than a great job. I thank you for your vulnerability, for the information that you gave to us. Sorry if I was a little like trying to like speed up the conversation, but I just know people are kind of like first time, and I want to keep people on here. So if you ever felt like you being rushed, my apologies. But I do appreciate all the information that you guys did give us today, give us women today. And women, I hope that you guys were also taking notes from these gentlemen, and just understanding that it's just like, you know, just look at it as a whole pot, like a gumbo, and look at it from every perspective and put it all together. Because I think at the end of the day, they all agreed with one another. It was just different perspectives coming from each other that one person probably couldn't say at that moment. So with that, did you have anything to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, man, you guys did a great job, man. I love this conversation. Like, honestly, I'm
salute to everybody, man.
Yes,
salute.
I love this type of stuff, man. You know, I want us to keep this stuff going, man.
For real.
Yes,
yeah, yes. These conversations give me chills, man. This is dope to hear y'all.
So like Clubhouse 2.0.
I know Clubhouse. I know live Clubhouse. That's how we. That's my homie right there. So yeah, just from having open conversations about and perspectives. But I just wanted to, you know, say thank everybody from for watching the show again, watching another episode of Whatever You Say. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Yes. And if you have questions, if you want to be on a show, make sure you hit me up at whateveryousay.info@gmail.com. And listen, be true to yourself and to each other. And y'all have